vaccines, do they unleash the power of the immune system to fight cancer?
Well, we have two currently FDA-approved cancer vaccines, Provenge and recently T-VEC, which clearly upon addition to standard of care seems to be cutting the number of unresponding patients in half. I do believe that it does. It does mobilize, enhance endogenous immune responses.
I would agree that I think tumor vaccines absolutely can enhance an immune response. Certainly the case of Provenge, T-VEC, we see that. We see single agent efficacy. What we don't see is really efficacy in the setting of PD-1 refractory disease or checkpoint refractory disease, which right now in solid tumor oncology is where the critical need is.
I would add to it that in our phase 1 study, we could achieve 57% of objective response rate in dendritic cell vaccine loaded with tumor blood vessel targeting antigens. So I hope that we will be able to confirm it in larger studies.
Do you prefer pizza or spaghetti with clams?
Clams, any single day.
I'm a pizza girl.
What is the success rate of adoptive cell therapy?
So that depends on which adoptive cell therapy you're talking about. The most advanced adoptive cell therapy that we have for solid tumors at this point is lifileucel for melanoma, which has a 31.4% objective response rate in PD-1 refractory melanoma. That is a drug that's currently being considered by the FDA for approval, hopefully in early 2024. We also have a TCR product that has a 38% success rate for metastatic synovial cell sarcoma. We see lower response rates in earlier trials with other drugs, but right now, those are the two that are furthest along.
The response rates are impressive. They start to be translated into prolonged survival. That's something which I think should be the focus of the next years.
If you could have a dinner with any movie star, what would it be?
If I could have dinner with any movie star, I would have dinner with George Clooney. Always impressed by how he manages being an incredible actor as well as a political activist and a great dad to his family, and so would love to hear what he has to say.
That's a tough one. Probably Brigitte Bardot 60 years ago.
Which vaccine could be used to treat melanoma?
At this moment, T-VEC seems to be giving very interesting results. When added to standard of care, personally, I'm very hopeful that our addition of dendritic cells will make these results even stronger. But at that moment, it's my speculation, which needs to be confirmed.
Yeah, I think T-VEC has modest efficacy. It's not a drug I use very often. It is something that is not additive. When we add that to checkpoint blockade, the trial of T-VEC plus PD-1 was a negative trial. To me, what we're looking for is sort of something that has efficacy in uninjected lesions or an abscopal effect on the rest of the body. We've seen some nice early data this year from Replimune, from RP1, which I think has some promise, but also needs to be confirmed in larger trials.
Could you describe in a few words the place where you live?
I do live in one of the few places in the US when in the winter you can drive 12 minutes to the nearest ski slopes, and in the summer 25 minutes to your marina. That's Buffalo.
I live right off of Stanford's campus, just across the street, so I get to walk to work every day in beautiful Palo Alto, where it's sunny 300 plus days a year. Hard to beat. Doesn't snow. Hard to beat Palo Alto.
No contest.
What are the two main challenges of adoptive cell therapy?
So two of the biggest challenges to adoptive cell therapy are right now the need for inpatient hospitalization. That really limits the number of patients that we can treat because we're limited by hospital beds. So the ability with new protocols to be able to treat patients as an outpatient will make this a much more translatable therapy to a wider variety of patients. So that's one. The other right now, particularly with respect to TIL, is the need for high-dose IL-2. That means that patients need to have a pretty good performance status coming in to be able to tolerate IL-2. We are seeing new drugs coming that potentially get rid of the need for IL-2, and I think that will be a complete and total game changer for adoptive cell therapy. But right now, IL-2 and inpatient hospitalization are two of the biggest challenges.
I agree with this. Only thing I would like to add is current need for conditioning, non-ablative conditioning regimen to eradicate endogenous immune system and making the niche for the T cells. First, it can be toxic. It can have some complications. Second, it limits the possibility of combine adoptive T-cell therapies with additional treatments because there is already very significant baseline toxicity, and absence of the endogenous immune system may limit efficacy of, for example, combinations with checkpoints or vaccines.
If you could only choose one song to play every time you want, what would it be?
Oh, it's definitely Jethro Tull, Christmas song. I have it as wake up music on my cell phone. It wakes me up every day.
Wow, that's a really hard question. If I could only have one song, I would say "Living on a Prayer."
Not a bad one.
Is adoptive transfer of mRNA transduced CAR T cells feasible and safe?
Feasible, yes. I think safe. We have a lot to learn right now. CAR T, particularly for solid tumor, is in its very early days in its nascency. We know that genetically modified CAR T cells are absolutely safe and life-saving for hematologic malignancies. We think that will translate to solid tumors. But right now, can we look you in the eye and tell you there's data for that? There's not yet.
Indeed, very exciting new opportunity. We need more data to be able to tell anything for sure. I'm sure it's coming.
What would I find in your refrigerator?
Definitely a nice piece of camembert, some beer, and probably a couple of Riesling, and Sauvignon Blanc.
I want to go to your refrigerator. It sounds more fun than my refrigerator. I'm an athlete at heart, so my refrigerator is filled with fruits, vegetables, and lean meats, and the occasional treat, but mostly pretty healthy food.
I'm jealous.
In which direction adoptive cell therapy needs to be further developed?
I think the big things, certainly we need to think about genetically modified adoptive cell therapy is that, one, increase efficacy. If we're going to take the risk of toxicity and the cost of these treatments, we need more effective treatments. But we could say that for absolutely any cancer treatment across the board. In particular, I think that we need therapies that we can do as an outpatient. Right? We have managed to date to treat CAR T-cell patients for hematologic malignancies inpatient because the number of those patients is so much smaller. But when we compare the number of solid tumor patients who might potentially benefit from adoptive cell therapy, our hospitals don't have room for all of those patients. And so that technology, things that will move this along, including work that I'm presenting here at the Melanoma Bridge meeting, may potentially move adoptive cell therapy to an outpatient regimen. And for me, that would be one of the biggest advances in our field.
Obviously, challenge will be to translate a high number of objective responses into sustained responses. That's one of the challenges which I'm sure will be met, but it requires confirmation. Second thing is indeed making it more user-friendly, meaning both patient-friendly and clinical team-friendly. Once we'll move from tens of thousands to hundreds of thousands of patients that will need to be treated in case of solid tumor, making it as simple as possible and as little toxic as possible is a general challenge. Then figuring out how to make it more applicable in combinations with other treatments to become more widely applicable to larger groups of patients.